So I've always been passionate about entrepreneurship. From as young as I can remember, I've always loved starting businesses. I started my first business when I was about 8 years old, selling potatoes at the end of the road. I grew up in the country, so we didn't have a lot of local traffic, but my brother and I started a little potato shop stall. And I remember getting that first sale. Someone actually pulled into our driveway. They brought a bag of potatoes that we were selling for $3. And that feeling of knowing that I could create my own financial results, that's when I first felt it. And I've been hooked ever since. I've been into entrepreneurship ever since that moment. When I got into college, I was doing finance and accounting, and I was just 1 year away from graduating, and I reached a fork in the roads. Basically, I had a choice to make. Did I want to go down the path of getting a job, going and working in corporate finance and working 12-hour days for the next 40 years, or did I want to go into the world of entrepreneurship? And I stumbled across an online business opportunity one day. It was late 2008, and I still remember that like it was the other day. I saw an ad promising easy riches. I clicked on it. I filled out the application. I became someone's lead. About a week later, I had brought into a $2,000 business. About 2 months later, I had invested another $38,000 into this business. So now I had everything invested in this business. I actually decided that I was going to put my college on hold for a few years, and I was going to give this a fair crack. I was going to really try and see if I could make internet marketing work. Now, to be honest, it didn't come quite as easily as I would have liked. I spent the better part of 2 years struggling like hell to try and make this business work. I knew nothing when I got into this world. I knew nothing about leads, autoresponders, anything like that. So I was learning from the ground up. I still remember my first sale. My first sale came exactly 9 months after I'd started, and I'd been working 9 months full-time. When I say full-time, I'm talking 14-hour days, 7 days a week. I was just putting everything into it. I'd put pretty much all of my money into the business. I had everything invested, and there was no backup plan for me. I just had to make this work no matter what. But I still remember that first sale. It was a $2,000 sale, and my commission on that was $1,000. And I remember getting that commission, waking up to it one morning, getting the email telling me I'd made that sale, and I was ecstatic. I was running around the house. At the time, I was renting with my sister, so I remember telling her, hey, I just made a $1,000 commission. She was like, well, so what? You've been doing this for 9 months, and that's all you've got to show. But I didn't see it like that, because I knew if I could do it once, then it was just a matter of repeating those actions that led me to that result over and over. So shortly after that, I started getting sales on a more regular basis. But to be honest with you, it didn't become a regular thing until about 2 years into it. Okay, it took me about 2 years to get a bit of momentum behind me, but once I got that momentum, it took off like crazy. I had my first $7,000 month, then I went up to $15,000. That was October 2011. December 2011, $45,000. Next month, $80,000, and so on and so forth. And as you can imagine, I mean, for a 24-year-old at the time, that was pretty extreme. That was pretty wild. I was still living with my parents, so to suddenly be making $80,000 a month, that was like a dream come true. So today, life is a little bit different than it used to be 3 years ago. Life is very different, in fact. These days, I spend my time traveling around the world, and this is what I do all year long. Earlier this year, we were in Fiji, Thailand, America. I traveled to America a lot. So life is very, very different today than it used to be. And what's given me this freedom is this business, Mobe. I promote Mobe as a partner, just as many of you do, and with the income that I make from Mobe, I'm able to have this kind of life where I can travel around and I don't have any restrictions on how I live my life. money no longer gets in the way of whether I do something or I don't. So most people go through their life struggling with money, and the truth is they really don't have to. And it's such a shame that people can spend decades letting a lack of money impact their life, their relationships, and just their entire circumstances. So what I'm really passionate about is sharing what knowledge I've accumulated about creating businesses and creating wealth. I love sharing that with other people because I know how powerful and how life-changing that can be. If you can get the money part of your life worked out where you don't have to worry about money anymore, it just makes life a lot easier. It really does. I mean, if you want to travel to some foreign country and go on a 2-week holiday, and you don't have to think about the cost because it's not a big deal because you've got money in the bank, there's a general sense of freedom that comes along with that. And I think everyone should experience that. So that's why I'm so passionate about sharing the knowledge I have with other people in MOB. So how do I see myself in 10 years? To be perfectly honest with you, I see myself doing the exact same thing as I'm doing right now. MOB to me is not a short-term thing. It's something I want to do for the rest of my life, but I just want to continue to do it on an ever-increasing scale. I see us in 10 years as being a massive company. When I say massive, I'm talking hundreds of millions of dollars. That's where I'm looking to go with this. Total revenue, with most of that going back to our partners. With our current growth, I think it's entirely possible. And as long as we're smart and we move in the right direction and we think strategically, I see no reason why we can't reach those levels. We have thousands of partners all around the world making a full-time income with MOB, and it's a great feeling to be a part of that. And I see myself continuing to do this for decades to come. So that's what I'm all about. I'm here for the long term, and I look forward to working with you.